Welcome everyone to this exciting brand new segment that is gonna be called Should You Watch This Anime? My name is Misty Chronexia, and today I wanted to talk to you about Flip Flappers, one of the greatest hits here on Viewster that you can check out at your own leisure. Flip Flappers is one of the anime that came out this fall. It is one that is currently airing, which is the reason why I wanted to do this type of video. Flip Flappers is currently having 6 episodes out at the moment. Those are the ones I've seen, and those are the ones I will be talking to you about. Now, one of the key features of the show that will probably catch your eyes right from the get-go is the visuals. The visuals are absolutely stunning. You have characters that are dynamic, the movement, the animation is absolutely flawless, and that by itself should be reason enough to just want to watch it first. But just in case the visuals aren't enough, I want to talk to you about the music. The music is absolutely enticing, it brings the mood up every time it plays. The opening theme song is super catchy, the ending theme song just wraps up the whole episode in one go. It is absolutely endearing.
あなた、今朝の。ねえねえねえ、何してるの？あなたこそどうしてこんなところに？寝てた。は？
So one of the things that I found absolutely captivating about this anime is the somewhat of an omnibus format. Omnibus format is something that you see in some anime where one episode is dedicated to one event and the next episode happens to something else, but it's not related to the first one, so it's something new every time. But at the same time, it kind of has a continuity to it, so you have the character development that starts off really janky at first, but then as the episodes go through, you can see somewhat of a bond forming between the main girl character Kokona and the other main girl character Paprika. The anime tells the story of Kokona, the main girl character of this anime in Flip Flappers, and she's a girl that's pretty much focused on her study. The average teenage girl that goes to school, she is mostly focused on being a serious upcoming citizen. But then she meets with Paprika, which is another girl her age, and her head is mostly in the cloud where she's all about fantasy and adventure. Whenever these two girls meet, it starts off being somewhat of a clash, but eventually Kokona loosens up and Paprika tries to meet her halfway. So the whole goal of the anime is for the two girls to go in this alternate dimension called Pure Illusion. In Pure Illusion, the girls have to find fragments that they have to collect. So far, we don't really know what the purpose of that is, but I'm sure it's going to be unraveled in the next episodes. But as they get to collect the small piece of fragments, they have an verse team that they somewhat fight off against, and that has the same goal as them to collect the said fragments. Now, like I said earlier, there is somewhat of an episodic unbalance that happens. So every time something new happens, and that brings a lot of charms to the anime itself, because every time you start a new episode, it's a different setting. You go in a different dimension, a different pure illusion, and it is something entirely different than you had the last episode.
Paprika?
So the first episode sets you off in a winter area in the forest, and then by the next episode you have the Alice in Wonderland type of settings, and after that you go straight out into the desert to have somewhat of a Mad Max ambience with people, the wild crowd just fighting against the normal people, and it is really absolutely jaw-dropping to watch the setting change every time. The background, the visuals, like I said earlier, are absolutely amazing. And that also allows you to change the genre of the episode. I remember one being super cheery, and the next episode it gets super dark, like even almost horror-like, with like people with no faces and just dark ambience, an abandoned school district, and it genuinely felt like I was watching a horror anime, and that was awesome to see, because I was like, it's a cheery girl show. What? This is not gonna frighten me, and they managed to pop scare me out of one thing. So that so far has been my favorite episode, the episode 5. If you ever get the chance to watch this one, it is a masterpiece in itself. And then by the time you hit episode 6, that's all gone. You got a super sad story that goes with one of the girls at school, and it's just something else entirely. You also have to keep in mind that this is somewhat of a magical girl anime. I know this has been a trend lately ever since Madoka Magica was an anime. People have been going outside of the boundaries when it comes to Magical Girl, where it can go either dark, it can go different than what it was ever since it happens. But with the flip-flapper aspect, with everything changing every setting, every time, I feel that's something that we haven't seen, so I think the originality in this has something to bring to the table that has never been seen before. What I will say, however, is while I think it's really captivating and it will keep you on the edge of your seat for sure, there is something that I find is somewhat lacking within the anime, and that is the character development. Some of the characters have pretty bland personalities and doesn't offer very much to develop about them.
パピカ、ごめんね、殴ったりして。私もパンチしたし、キックしたし、大嫌いって。
You can see the episodes being dispersed on a big lifespan during the whole anime, but yet the character hardly ever changed from their very first cookie cutter format. You have the girl that's super strict, then she slightly lightens up, and then you have Paprika, which is just this cheery-go-lucky type of girl. But everybody else, they feel like they don't really change. You have the antagonists that are stoic, kind of lifeless, and you also have the helpers. The robot never really changed, just there's as somewhat of a comic relief and somewhat of an occasional helper. And then you have everybody else on the sideline that you just don't really see enough of to really get a grasp of what they are like. And that plays a lot against the connection you can have with the characters. So if they start off first off being kind of hard to like, and if you don't really enjoy them, then it's kind of hard to get invested in the anime itself. Furthermore, I think the story takes a while to wind up before you get to understand the fact that every setting is always changing and that the ambience is to gather all those fragments. I think it's gonna take like at least 2 or 3 episodes for you to get invested in it. So if you're the type of person who likes to know what's going on within the very first episode, this might not be for you. However, if you do enjoy the magical girl aspect and what's new to bring to the table with this one in Flip Flappers, well, I highly recommend you check it out because personally it is my absolute highlight for this season, and I'm glad I had the opportunity to watch it here on Viewster. So I hope you enjoyed this episode of Should You Watch Flip Flappers, and if you did, please come again. I'm sure you'll enjoy the other episodes we have in store for you. See you next time.
On these memories I reflect, I can see a better plan from here. One more time, rewind, I'll find another way back here.